Hi, I'm Brendan, and welcome to Personality Epistemology. So this is going to be a kind of intense themed video, and it might not be for everyone. So far, most of my videos aren't for anyone, but I'm trying to workshop and iterate and see how I can change that and figure out how to produce watchable videos. So feedback welcome, comments welcome. Feel free to like or dislike. I mean, does that mess up the algorithm? I mean, because I'm iterating and creating and so on live, like some of this is going to be unlikable by different people, and that's totally understandable. So feedback welcome. So I'm going to address the issue of power and financial triage situations. So if anyone has seen, I mean, basically, there are times and roles where people have to make a decision on basically who lives or who dies based on the distribution of money, and usually one is not directly knowing, like, okay, maybe they have some other solution, right? If you say no to someone who's like, I need money or people will die, I mean, first that sounds like a threat, right? But I mean, like, let's say insurance decisions or so-called charity or philanthropy decisions, which is a whole, like, I mean, as an aside, the term charity has been completely distorted from what it conventionally classically meant. I mean, classically, like Aquinas and Christianity and so on, of actually more or less love of fellow human beings, into this thing of like, oh, is there enough spare change or extra bits of the billions to hand out or apply to worsening global problems, and ignoring most of them, including everything complex. So, I mean, I'm sure there are people, I mean, I know there are people working on complex problems, but there's, I mean, just because of the state of the world, obviously something's missing, right? So, what I have here is where to begin. Boundary turbulence and paradigm change in education, professions, and politics. I have these clips from this video, The Simpsons Theory Show Within a Show, that's available on YouTube, from this Treehouse of Horror episode of The Simpsons. So basically, I would like to, and then from the movie The Truman Show, I have this, for God's sake, Chris, the whole world's watching, warning to the director who's watching a dangerous situation play out. And transformative learning to solve the impossible, edge emotions and intuition in expanding the limitations of our rational abilities, and the question of responsibility and what's going to happen. And what many people are seeking: affective energy, authentic power, and transforming communities toward phenomenology of collaboration. Or I hope I can find people who want to collaborate and figure out how to at least produce awesome content. So, and life relevant content, as opposed to escapism and so on. So, I have this window here open, which I'll expand to the whole screen. So these are 2012 videos, or one is 2014. But so in 2014, I said that rule at times, it's not always obvious what to do. It's kind of like this liminal situation thing. Well, what do I do here? Like, there's maybe what one might usually do is unworkable or not worth it, or will cause problems, or irrelevant, and then one doesn't quite know what to do, maybe among different options, or maybe at all. And so then these two at the bottom here, I was talking through stuff, and I was like, and also learn how to grapple with these questions of power, where one is faced with trade-offs that impact other people's entire lives. So I think optimally, according to me, potentially it's worth collaborating to figure out these things out. But when people's lives are at stake, there's a widespread cultural thing of people avoiding and running away from dealing with them, or it going to professionals where one professional is supposed to make the decision, or to the legal system, but that doesn't even address many people's issues and situations, and just adds problems in a lot of cases, like costs and uncertainty. So, yeah, so I mean, basically, I got paid, and I don't have enough money to meet commitments, and these are important commitments, like, and no one else is taking responsibility for helping the several people that I'm choosing to take responsibility for helping. And there's like mutuality in all of these relationships, but not everyone has access to money, and even I have dwindling access to money in terms of like borrowing, or so we need to create value to improve the economy. I mean, I'm getting to the conclusion first. I should probably open the video with this, but especially since I have almost no viewers, it's like I have to produce the videos in ways that if someone watches 20 seconds, brings people to be interested to watch the rest of them. So maybe and then do I put this video up or not? I mean, all these decisions. So it's like I'm seeking collaborators to figure this stuff out and produce content. But these are like what are called third rail issues in politics, in people's actual real lives. It's like this fear of getting involved in life and death funding and coordination situations, or wanting to blame the people in them, or thinking there's places to turn. And then what happens if is the actual, it's like many deaths per day in the United States, for example, that could be totally transformed with teamwork and knowledge, get buried away in like, oh, it's the person's own fault, or it's like got to be either villains did it, or it's their own fault, or it's like a medical death, or, and then what is actually often the case is it's a combination of all of these things over time, and just situations over time that could be transformed at many different points, and yet there's no profession that actually collaborates to transform complex situations, or to the extent this is happening, it's very selective and it can't just be accessed, which is and because I'm trying to suggest that a lot of these problems could be transformed, because of that, maybe like it's very difficult to collaborate about these things, because it's overwhelming. And I mean, I think this is where it's like the INTJ plus ADHD plus like knowing different things makes is part of why I'm able to think through these things, at least, and work on figuring them out, where many people are just like and flee. So I'm seeking other people who could dive into the content knowledge work and collaborate to develop audiences, and who could be fighting fires or doing front lines, high stakes endeavors of various kinds. But then in this case it's not, I mean, it's front lines in a more distanced way. So anyway, comments and questions welcome more soon. Thank you.